This is where we started. This was December last year, and the red button there in the end is then that will be Rome. In between, you see all these red dots. These are the events that will take place in certain months of the years, every 2 years again, and will be events addressed to the audience, to the users of design. Will become bigger, as you can see. In between, we have all sorts of events before the big event. Will be incidental activities like that we work with a company to make a product, or that we work on political posters, the face of the politics, as we call it. I will show some of the projects a little bit later. The first exhibition that we are now realizing will be in 2010 in Den Haag, afterwards in Berlin. It's about the DIN. The DIN is the Deutsche Industrienorm. The Deutsche Industrienorm was created to make production more efficient and more rational. So that was a concept which was mainly good for the industry, not directly for the users. It brought us wonderful things, by the way. But it brought us also the DIN as a recommendation how you have to develop your products. It also brought us the notion as if we are part of a machine and not just a human being who wants to have a comfortable life. Now, what we will show in the exhibition is an historical overview of what happened after the invention and just before of DIN. And if you go really into, let's say, the effects of DIN, and you realize that it was mainly made for industry, as I just was telling, then you can imagine that it was addressed to the users, that we could have had a completely different society, with completely different products, with completely different houses, completely different environment in which we live. This is an image of the 1910 or something in America. It's a slaughterhouse for cows. Now, that's almost 100 years ago. And you can imagine how it will be today. One of the effects of DIN was also the rationalization of the paper that we produce and use for print work, like as you see it here. That's really DIN. That's really one of the rules that DIN created. There was a wonderful graphic designer, Ziegelt, and Ziegelt thought that this was perfect for the world to use, because it was not only a rationalization of the production, it was also using less paper, because you had, and also spending less hours, because it was also produced on forehand. You didn't have to think anymore about the size of a paper that you would like to use for a poster or for a book or for a catalog. In the end, Ziegelt, who was a big supporter for this system, said, maybe it's not a very good idea that we do it like this, because we'll all have the same face. For every company will create the same sort of catalogs in the same size. So how can we be different than the other ones? There is a need for difference and for diversity. So in the end, Ziegelt said, I'm not any longer a supporter for the DIN. I want to create unique pieces for unique people. That was a nice thought in the 1930s. Last year, this book was published by a Dutch younger designer who investigated how a pig is being used by society, what we do with a pig. A pig gets born, it lives for maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years, ready for slaughter. And then the pig is being split up and analyzed and split up and being used for at least 150 different products. Pigs, you can find pig elements back in your bra. You can find pig elements in your glasses, or pig elements in your shoes, or even pig elements in the chewing gum that you're eating. So there's nothing of a pig that is not being used today. Even the last tip of the eyebrow of a pig is being used for a product. That's why I wanted to show you this. But I'm a little bit insecure because this is not, it's supposed to work now, it's a movie. Oh. How do I go back here? It shouldn't support work like this, but...
But do you need to zoom out as well?
Huh?
Do you need to zoom out as well? Oh, the picture is right. Yeah, but in the presentation, maybe it's good if you zoom out a little bit.
Huh?
This one?
Yeah, you can zoom it out if you want.
Because we see half of the image.
Oh, okay. Okay, now. Sorry, I hope it works now. It doesn't work. So I don't know what it... Okay, I keep my finger on the button. But that goes too fast. Is there someone who can help me with this? I'm sorry. Yeah.
Ed,
Yeah?
just while we're trying to sort this out, can I make a question to you?
Yeah, sure.
As you just showed the images of the DIN norms
Yeah.
and historically how they have been developed and the meaning behind them, do you also look into them in terms of giving new proposals and showing which of those are maybe outdated, which should be changed, especially all the norms with the European Union which are coming up for packaging, and there's so much useless happening also.
Yeah.
I don't know, I remember bread had to be all by sudden in a plastic cover.
Yeah.
So the French got really angry that they couldn't walk around with the
Yeah.
baguette anymore.
Yeah.
Do you look into these then also kind of proposing new ideas and, you know, maybe also saying that these are outdated, they shouldn't exist anymore
Yeah,
at all?
very much. But I don't know exactly how many rules there are, but there are thousands of rules for within the DIN. It's not only for paper, it's also for how an interior should be organized. There's so many rules that people have to follow in industry, and so many rules then in the end that you get on your plate as a consumer that you don't know about. So my fantasy about this is that we get to learn more about the DIN and that we ask them to throw out some of the DIN rules which doesn't fit anymore today, and that we maybe bring in some other new notions that fit today, that are more addressed to the, let's say, the multicultural society and a world of diversity and not a world of standardization, without losing the quality of efficiency. Yeah.
Who are the people in charge of these DINs? DIN norms?
There's an institute in Germany.
And And are they then also involved in the norms which come from the European Union?
Yes, they publish books and they have an institute with hundreds of people coming up with and also answering questions of industry. But industry is learned to think in systems. So if they don't have a system to produce something, or the rule is not yet there, then they have a contact with the DIN, and then the DIN comes up with a new rule.